Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to tell you a story that might sound simple at first, but by the end of it, you may realize it has the power to change how you see yourself, how you face your problems, and how you walk into your future. This is the story of discovering your inner strength, the kind of strength that doesn't shout, doesn't show off, and doesn't need applause, but quietly waits inside you, ready to rise when life pushes you to the edge. Once upon a time there lived a young person who believed they were ordinary in every possible way. Not especially talented, not especially brave, not especially confident. Every morning they woke up with the same heavy feeling in their chest, the feeling that they were already behind in life, that others were moving forward while they were standing still. They watched people around them succeed, smile, celebrate, and they wondered, what is wrong with me? In school, in work, in family gatherings, they often stayed quiet. They avoided attention because attention made them uncomfortable. Deep inside, they were afraid of making mistakes, afraid of being judged, afraid of failing in front of others. And so they chose the safest path, the path of staying small, staying silent, staying hidden. One day, something unexpected happened. A small problem turned into a big crisis. Maybe it was losing a job, failing an important exam, or disappointing someone they deeply cared about. Whatever it was, it shook their world. Suddenly, the life they were trying to protect collapsed in front of them. Plans disappeared, confidence vanished, and hope felt very far away. That night, they sat alone in their room, staring at the wall, listening to the ticking of the clock. Every second felt loud. Every thought felt heavy. Their mind replayed every mistake they had ever made, every chance they had missed, every word they wished they had said differently. They whispered to themselves, I am not strong enough for this. But something strange happened in that silence. In the middle of all that pain, a quiet question appeared in their mind. What if I am stronger than I think? At first, they laughed at the idea. Stronger? How could that be true when everything felt so broken? But the question didn't leave. It stayed there, gently knocking on their thoughts. What if you are stronger than you think? The next morning, nothing in the world had changed. The problems were still there. The fear was still there. The uncertainty was still there. But inside, something tiny had shifted. A small spark of curiosity replaced a little bit of despair. They decided to do one small thing differently that day. Just one. Not a big transformation, not a dramatic decision. Just one small act of courage. Maybe it was sending an email they had been avoiding. Maybe it was speaking up in a meeting. Maybe it was simply getting out of bed when they wanted to hide under the covers. And you know what happened. Nothing magical. No applause, no sudden success, no fireworks in the sky. But something important happened inside them. They realized, I did that. Even though I was afraid, I still did it. That night, they went to sleep with a new thought. Maybe strength is not about being fearless. Maybe strength is about acting even when you are scared. Days passed, and life continued to test them. Some days were better, some days were worse. Sometimes they felt confident, sometimes they felt weak again. But every time they faced a small challenge, they remembered that first step. They remembered that they had survived worse. They remembered that fear did not stop them before. One evening, they met an old friend who seemed to have everything figured out. Good job, happy life, confident smile. As they talked, our main character finally asked the question that had been burning inside them for years. How are you so strong? The friend smiled softly and said, I am not strong all the time. I am scared more often than you think. But I learned something important. Strength is not something you are born with. It is something you build, moment by moment, choice by choice. Those words stayed in their heart. From that day on, they began to notice something new. Every time they chose to try instead of quit, they felt a little stronger. Every time they chose to forgive instead of hold anger, they felt lighter. Every time they chose to believe in themselves just a little, their confidence grew. They started to understand that inner strength is not loud. It does not announce itself. It grows quietly when you wake up on a hard day and still move forward. It grows when you fail and decide to try again. It grows when you doubt yourself and still take the next step. There were still days when everything felt too heavy. Days when they wanted to give up. Days when old fears returned and whispered, "You are not enough." But now, they answered those whispers differently. They said, "Maybe I am not perfect, but I am learning. Maybe I am not fearless, but I am brave enough to continue." One day, another big challenge arrived. Bigger than before. The kind of challenge that makes your hands shake and your heart race. For a moment, they felt that familiar panic rising. The old version of them would have run away. The old version of them would have said, "I can't do this." But this time, they took a deep breath and remembered everything they had survived. They remembered every small victory, every hard night, every moment they chose not to quit. They looked at the challenge and said quietly, "I don't know how I will do this, but I know I will try." And step by step, slowly and imperfectly, they faced it. They made mistakes. They felt embarrassed. They doubted themselves again. But they kept going. When it was finally over, they did not feel like a hero. They did not feel invincible. But they felt something far more powerful. They felt proud. Proud not because they had won, but because they had not given up. That night, as they sat alone again, listening to the ticking of the clock, they realized how much they had changed. Not on the outside, but on the inside. The fear was still there sometimes, but it no longer controlled them. The doubt was still there sometimes, but it no longer defined them. They finally understood the truth. Inner strength is not about never breaking. It is about putting yourself back together every time you do. Inner strength is not about always knowing the answer. It is about trusting yourself to find the way. Inner strength is not about being perfect. It is about being real, being honest, and being brave enough to keep going. And now, I want to talk to you. Right now, wherever you are, whatever you are facing, I want you to pause for a moment and think about your own life. Think about the battles you have already fought. Think about the nights you cried and still woke up the next morning. Think about the times you wanted to quit but didn't. You may not realize it, but you are already stronger than you think. Maybe you are struggling with studies. Maybe you are worried about your future. Maybe you feel lonely, misunderstood, or lost. Maybe you think everyone else is moving ahead while you are stuck behind. But listen to me carefully. The fact that you are still here, still trying, still dreaming, is proof of your strength. You do not need to become someone else to be powerful. You do not need to wait for confidence to start. You do not need permission to believe in yourself. Your inner strength is already inside you, waiting to be discovered. It is in the courage you show when you face your fears. It is in the patience you show when progress is slow. It is in the kindness you show even when you are hurting. It is in the hope you hold on to when everything feels dark. And the beautiful thing about inner strength is this. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Every small step matters. Every attempt matters. Every failure that teaches you something matters. Every time you choose not to give up, you are building a version of yourself that is wiser, braver, and stronger than before. One day, in the future, you will look back at this moment in your life and smile. You will realize that the pain you felt, the fear you faced, and the challenges you survived were not meant to break you. They were meant to reveal you. They were meant to show you who you really are. A person who can fall and rise. A person who can doubt and still believe. A person who can struggle and still shine. So today, I want to leave you with this message. Do not underestimate yourself. Do not compare your journey to others. Do not let your past define your future. Trust the process. Trust your growth. Trust your inner strength. Because inside you, there is a power greater than any obstacle, stronger than any fear, and brighter than any doubt. And as long as you keep moving forward, no matter how slow, no matter how imperfect, you are already winning. Remember, you are not weak. You are becoming. And that, my friend, is the most powerful journey of all. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next story.